of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
First off, tonight we were scheduled to have our annual meeting, and I will make a motion to postpone that annual meeting until July because our auditor's report is not done.
I'll second.
Voice vote, Ted?
Yes.
Tom?
Yes.
Jean, yes? Dave? Joy?
Yes.
Jimmy?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn the annual meeting.
So moved.
And all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. So we'll call the regular board meeting to order. Verification of proper public notice.
The meeting was properly noticed and published.
Public comment on items not on the agenda. Police chief's report. Bruce?
Yep, approval of minutes.
We got to approve the minutes, Gene.
Good evening, everybody.
We'll do that.
Things are busy. Traffic is picked up. We're pumping down the road pretty quick, picking up a lot of speeders and violators. Boat launch is insanely busy. Our lake is definitely being used. We've added more no parking signs down at the boat launch going southbound on Island Lane and a couple coming back northbound. I went down there one day in the circle, which is posted on either side. They're parking their boats and trailers in there, so I keep a ticket book in my pickup truck. So I issued a few citations that way, then took a hike down Island Road and wrote some more tickets. Somebody sent me a very nice note telling me just what I could do with my ticket. He had a check for $5 paying it, so I thanked him. But that's just the way it is. So we're talking, Jeff and I met and talked about putting a little extra signage down there. Coming from Forested, going towards the launch, there were 4 no parking signs. Now there are 5. Going the other way, we're gonna have at least 1, if not 2 more in there. It's well parked. I'm also looking at a signage. I talked to Jeff, gave him a photograph of it. I got it from Captain Tome. We're gonna put a sign, it'll be a standard stop sign, and there's gonna be a notice underneath it indicating that if the launch spaces are full, the launch is closed. There's no parking. That way, somebody can come down, they can look, if you can see, okay, we're full. I guess we can't launch our boat, or launch your boat, take your car somewhere else and get a ride back, whatever it takes. They do that a lot in Waukesha County. I've seen it up in Vilas County, a few other counties as well. Maybe that'll curtail some of that parking outside in the no parking zone and then tearing up the shoulders and the sides of the roads and help us out.
That is also on our website too.
I would have just a question on that. So if people already bought the pass to park there, how can we tell them they can't then? How would you do that?
First come, first serve, always has been. If you're not there in time, you're not there in time. We're not gonna reserve spots for people. We don't do that. That's not our job.
How many
I mean,
spots
for the
are,
town, it's not our job.
how many spots are there?
I'd have to look back to my colleague in the far end. Yep,
11 or 12, I believe.
I'll go with that.
Well, and Jimmy, I think they would see the sign before they would go
Watch
over
the boat.
and
Yeah, it's
and
gonna be
buy.
right next to where the money drop box is and our board with our rules and regulations on it.
They might have a season pass.
Season pass, you paid to
Okay.
park there. That's my
Right.
question, is we didn't tell people by.
Yeah, the season pass is a pass to use that launch during a specific time because ordinance requires it. It is not a guarantee that we're gonna have a parking space reserved for you. And because the rest area is posted, no parking, because you can't have cars filling up Island Lane, because I'm not gonna get emergency equipment down there. I gotta have a tanker truck come in and one of the equipment trunks from the fire department, because I've got a structure fire. We're gonna have a pit with charcoal in it when we're done. We've gotta keep that road available for equipment to get through. There's just no getting around it, it's not that wide. I wish I had wide shoulders and we could allow them to park on the side, maybe grab them, but we don't have that because the property lines are coming right out there. I mean, it's a narrow road and we're really between the rock and the hard place, and we're not the only township that has that issue. They have it down in Palmyra, they've got it up in Lake Mills. I mean, it's nothing new. It just hasn't become so prevalent in the past as it has this year. I think people being cooped up and wanting to get, out on the water, and, I'm one of them, I couldn't wait, but, with everybody showing up, it is what it is.
No, they do have the option of going over to the Bay Shanty
Yeah, the Bay Shanty.
to launch if they need to.
It's it's $2 cheaper. So it's up to them, yeah, absolutely. And other than that, life is good.
Good.
Thank you.
That's all I got really, not much else.
Okay.
Thanks.
Thanks, Bruce.
You betcha.
I skipped over item number 4, approval of the minutes from the May 19th, 2020 town board meeting.
So I'll give you guys a really quick update. Ted had caught a mistake. I had spaced out on the second page in the third paragraph. I had to reword that to what actually happened, and I did to the best of my ability. I don't know what happened, but I spaced out. But then Jimmy just caught another very small mistake. The second paragraph, it says, for the year, it says 220, so it's gonna eliminate one of those twos and make it 2020. So these are the most up-to-date minutes, and my apologies for the mistake. I don't know what I was thinking, or if I was, so.
I'll make a motion to approve the amended May 19th meeting minutes.
Second.
Okay, motion's made and seconded to approve the minutes from the May 19th meeting. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Road supervisors report.
Good evening.
Hey, Jeff?
Mr. Shield.
Yes, we started putting up them speed signs. I don't know if you've seen it,
No?
No.
Where at?
right in front of your place.
I figured you put it right in front of my house. What about Tom's house?
Well, Tom's on a curve.
Where did we end up? I didn't notice it on the way up tonight.
It's right past, it's on a utility pole right past, the inlet,
Okay,
heading towards the west.
yeah, and I'm hoping we're gonna put them by the utility poles or parking signs if we can.
Kinda have to, otherwise I'll have to,
Right.
dig down 4 feet and put concrete in and a big post and,
Yeah, so, okay,
so I'm trying to utilize what we have along the road,
okay,
so.
good.
And the other one's going down by the A-frames?
Yes. Yes. Trying to get the right sun angle and the angle for the road so that the radar picks it up.
Good.
Working on that.
I'll see how fast they go tonight then.
It is in operation yet.
Okay,
Temporary up there.
okay,
Well, I should say that's permanent, but I got the solar power and
yeah.
I don't know how to program it. So. Talked with the surveyor for Wolf and Beach. Getting elevations for Jay.
Okay. Did you let Jay know that?
Yes, I
Good.
sent an email lunchtime today, I believe it was. I also have the blueprints for the salt shed, them are done. So I don't know how we want to proceed with that.
Well, I think we should put it out for bids
Okay.
and see where that goes. That probably has to be a Class 2 notice. I
It
would
might be.
guess. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
So we can put a Class 2 notice out and put it on next month's agenda.
Sounds good. First round of mowing is done. Next couple of weeks, we'll start the second one. I talked with you yesterday. There's a product out I want to try for road repairs. Third week in July, it's scheduled to come. It's a little more pricier than when we crack seal. It's got the same idea, but it's a wider seal and it'll fill potholes. Hoping to have some good results on it. It's been out for a while because we're trying to extend these life of these roads.
Did you say Exonia is using that?
Exonia is using it pretty heavy. So,
Their luck has been good with it?
yes, yes. If it's applied right, I can take our big front end loader and try to scrape it off the road and it won't scrape off. That's what the sales pitch is. I told them I'm gonna try it.
What's so different about it?
It sticks
It's more rubber.
more rubber.
rubbery, yeah.
It's got a stone in it, so it'll make potholes and wide tracks. It'll level out cross tracks. So that's for July.
That's not what the county used in 18, is it?
No,
I didn't
they
think
use
so.
crack seal.
Yeah.
Trust me, if it works, I will not ask to buy the equipment. I would rent it. It's too expensive for the amount of use you get out of it, so. The only way it would work is if we get 5 or 6 different municipalities.
Yeah.
Because the amount of time you do use it in the summertime, it's,
Well, and that's probably an option to look at down the road, if it's successful and
right.
and neighboring towns see that, they might want to jump on the bandwagon, because it isn't something you use more than,
Right, and it's not just equipment it's, you know, easy to get. I was lucky to reserve it for the 3rd week of July. That was the earliest I could get it,
yeah.
so.
So is it a heater like,
Yes, it's a heavy-duty heater,
okay,
and the material comes out the back, but it comes out more of a trough than a hose and a,
oh, okay.
so it's different pumping.
Did you guys have a chance to get on Ripley Road and do some cleanup with the leaves and the debris yet, or is that coming?
I've done quite a bit of cleanup, and it seems like every time I do, we get more wind, so. But I've been keeping the inlets, cleaning the grates out as much as I can.
Don't we usually hire Cambridge to come in with the street sweeper and clean up?
Yeah, and they were off on, for that COVID, they were shut down, so they're trying to catch up now. So I haven't been bothering him too much.
You bought a little sweeper, didn't you, for,
A vacuum,
or vacuum, okay.
yes, it's good for leaves.
Does that work for the gutters?
Yes, yes, and I wanna try to use it to get some more of the leaves out of the culverts too. Otherwise, we're gonna plug them out,
Yeah,
and we'll have another mess. But as everything else, it's man hours and available man hours, so.
I take it you're not getting any summer help? Okay.
No, it's been a while since I've had good summer help, so. And we don't pay very well. They can go mow lawns and make more than what we pay them, so.
Yeah, well,
so,
I mean, if we
yeah.
need it, we probably should look at that.
Yeah, I think we
Need
should.
help.
Yeah, when I've had people say, well, I can go babysit and make more money, and, you know, take the kid down
Well,
to the
they
lake
might
and
be
make
stretching
more
that a
money.
little bit.
Well, not by much. No, I'm not kidding.
Okay. Shop floor's done?
Yep, shop floor's done, looks great. I was hoping to get a price on putting that epoxy down, because we're starting to have, where the salt's at, starting to pop some of the concrete. They'll clean that up, put epoxy down, and then that'll help prevent that from happening again.
So don't we have some recourse? You said that it was 5 inches versus 6, if I thought I read correctly. What about going back to the original?
And finding out, looking at the original, it was signed for 5 inches.
Oh, it was, okay.
But it wasn't all 5 inches,
Okay.
so that was only 4. And the base wasn't what it was supposed to be either, but what are you gonna do?
Yeah, I'm not sure why the contract was signed for 5 inches, because I know at the time, I was pretty new on the board, but I remember discussing 5 and 6, and I thought we had come to the conclusion we're gonna do 6, but he sent the copy of the contract, and it's 5,
Okay.
so,
Yeah, for less than $2,000, we could have had an extra inch throughout the whole building. Because now you think the water tubes at 5 were only 4.5,
yeah.
so no wonder we had cracks all over.
Well, those, the biggest problem was where the big trucks
Yep.
sit. They're loaded with salt, ready to go in the morning, and that's a lot of weight.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's around 45,000 pounds.
Yeah. Okay, anything else?
Nope.
Questions for Jeff? Okay, thank you.
You want me to stay up here for road bids?
Yeah, we can talk about that.
Good catch.
That's a long one.
Great segue.
We got road bids in last time and had agreed at the time that we would wait until now, or this meeting, to decide whether we're going to approve any road bids or not. my feeling is we probably ought to not do that this year on these two road bids, simply because we're talking about doing that drainage, fixing that drainage issue down on Lakeview and Beach. We haven't got any bids on that yet. The surveyor still isn't, got everything up to the engineer, so we don't know just where that's going to be.
Right.
So at this point, my suggestion would be we hold off on road bids. What's everybody else think?
I'd like to get Wolf done.
But I think I'd like to wait and see what the drainage comes in, because this time the engineer did the other side of the street and marked off stakes than the first time, and so I'd like to see what that's actually going to turn out to be and how much that's going to cost, because
Yeah, when
we
will we
spent-
have that? When will we get that back? that
well,
information?
Well,
it's-
we don't know that at this point
Yeah.
because surveyor isn't done. That's,
so
Yeah,
we're
you
waiting
can
on
shoot
all
the
that.
Elevation.
Because you
Yeah.
figure we spent 60,000 on that drainage for the other part, kind of as a surprise. We need to know what it's going to cost
agree.
to fix that
No, I agree,
drainage
we need to know
before
what
we.
it is.
the
Maybe we'll
thought,
go on
the
this.
thought, Jimmy, was, and if you remember at our March meeting, we talked about getting a bid for Wolf and Beach. So we'd have an idea what it would run, but chances are we wouldn't do it this year. We'd do the drainage this year. We got to do that before we do the road. Do the drainage this year and then do the project next year. The other reason I'm a little hesitant to do it is I don't know what's going to happen with state aids next year. Gas tax income at the state level is down. Sales tax income is down. I would not be surprised if we see a reduction in state aids. And if that happens, we're going to need, as much in reserves as we can so we can make it, do some projects next year.
And to the same respect, we need to see what happens to second property tax payments
Yeah?
in another month or so. So it would be nice to see how all of that comes in before we look at spending too much more. So
I just want to let you guys know real quick, I think I only gave you the one from Payne and Dolan in your packets. The other one we received
late.
late.
Yeah.
So technically, we can't even accept it. Payne and Dolan was cheaper, I believe, on both of them.
Yes.
Yeah, so that's good, but that's why you only have one instead of two.
I would use the higher one as a budget number for, get an idea of what it's gonna cost.
For next year, yes, if we want a number, estimated number for next year, that's the one you'd want to use. Or at 8 or 9% to the other one.
I'm okay with waiting to get the drainage done first.
okay.
Okay, then I will entertain a motion to table the awarding of 2020 road bids.
So moved.
I'll second.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Thanks, Jeff. Okay, discussion and possible action regarding the house located at N4045 County Road A. Want to give us an update of where we're at?
Well, we have almost everything done to move back in. We haven't touched the living room or dining room, floors or anything yet at all, but we're not worried about that as much. The kitchen's almost ready to go, the bathroom's ready. We have hot water, we have just about everything, so.
Did you get the furnace?
We've been staying there on the weekends.
HVAC in?
Huh?
Got a furnace in?
No, we have not gotten a furnace in.
Okay. Going to get that by fall, or
Yeah,
what's the plan?
That's what we're planning on. So, otherwise,
Keep the garbage cans full.
I know. But that's about it.
Denise also brought a couple $100 for what
Towards my
she,
bill.
towards what she owed us, so I'm gonna receipt that. And that's the
I
first
couldn't find the
payment, so.
checkbook. but I have my card.
Hey, cash spends just as well, so.
Thank you.
And where are you putting those speed signs at?
Right in front of your house. one.
Thank you.
No, they're,
No, they're,
See if you guys need a spot, there's a perfect spot right there.
we're,
The sheriff's right behind you.
they're going on Ripley Road.
yeah,
Yeah, Ripley
They're on
Road.
on both ends of Ripley Road.
yeah.
That makes sense, but yeah, people just fly past there all the time. So, anyways, anything else?
Okay, any questions?
No.
Okay,
Thank you.
Thank you.
Take care.
Going home and going to bed.
Thank you. You doing okay? You,
Huh?
are you recovering okay?
Yeah, I'm still going to cardiotherapy and stuff. but
Okay,
That was
Yeah.
a shocker.
yeah. Worried me.
I hurt my back the month before that really bad, and that still hurts. That
Okay.
hurts worse than my heart, so.
All right, good. Thanks, Denise.
Okay, next item, discussion and possible action regarding to create a 5.28 acre A2 zone from an existing A1 zone at W8974 and W8976 County Road C, Fort Atkinson, for ag tourism. Parcel number 022-0613-2941-000.
And you can add in the next item to it also.
Take both of them up same time?
Might as
Yes.
well.
Okay.
Yes.
And item number 9 is discussion and possible action on a CUP for a wedding venue and apple sales at the same addresses. Mr. Wisniewski, you want to step up and tell us what you're planning? We got a petition here with 62 signatures opposing this project.
Yep, understood.
What do you tell those people?
Well, the other concern is for traffic and noise. That's basically been the concern from my neighbors. People that are on the petition, I haven't seen the petition, so I can't quite speak to it. But we've done sound checks that we would meet the county's sound levels at the property edge. So I had a DJ play at the maximum decibels that they would play at. And from my understanding of the Jefferson County rules, at the property line, at the gate, we would be at around 45 decibels, which is within the county statute. I've done traffic reports with the Wisconsin Department of Transportation that shows County Road C is pretty much an average county road. You know, I can't really do much more than that to say that, you know, what the effect that we're gonna have on the road. But my neighbors are obviously concerned that any increased traffic would be dangerous on the road. First time in front of you guys, so any questions, I'm glad to.
Well, I think we got enough people in here, they're probably going to want to voice a concern, so
Sure, yeah.
we'll open it up to the floor. We're going to limit this to 3 minutes. And if you want to have a seat, you can stand up if a question comes your way, so. So anybody want to get it started on it? Again, 3 minutes.
So I have, I'm, just so everybody knows, I have 3 minutes on my phone. I'll give you a 30-second warning, and then, just get ready. I'll give you a 30-second warning, and then when it goes off, that's your 3 minutes, so. Go ahead.
Okay, my name is Teresa Schickel. For over 35 years, my husband David and I and our 2 sons have lived in this area. The last 20 years, David and I have lived directly across the road from the property in question, and our sons both own properties on Retzlaff Road. We have been and will be heavily invested in this quiet neighborhood and community for 35 years and counting. The families that live in this quiet area purchased their properties here for a reason, just as Francis did. It's a rural community with rural character and charm. It also has zoning restrictions that go along with it. We feel that the changes being proposed will threaten the safety of everyone traveling, moving farm equipment, biking, or walking anywhere on or near Highway C. In just 1 year's time, there were 9 car versus deer accidents on Highway C in the stretch of road from Highway A to Cedar Road. A large portion of Francis's proposed orchard runs along that stretch. More traffic will certainly mean more deer collisions. The driveway that Francis plans to use for the Pick Your Own Orchard business and wedding venue is flanked by dangerous curves. The curve to the west allows for very little time to slow, let alone stop the traffic that will entering or exiting either of our driveways. The curve to the east of our driveway has a big barn on it that obstructs your view as you travel on Highway C. It is already a challenge and a danger from anyone trying to gain access to Highway C from Retzlaff Road. The extra traffic caused by a Pick Your Own Orchard and 200 wedding guests would definitely increase that challenge and danger. The safety risk would be greatly increased to those that live on Highway C, as well as to all those that are trying to gain access to it from multiple side roads and driveways along it. The number of reported accidents on this stretch of road to date have been minimal. I believe that that is because the majority of the current traffic on this highway is from regular users, people that use it on a daily basis and are familiar with the road. I feel that increasing the amount of traffic that is unfamiliar with this highway will negatively affect those numbers. About how many accidents or possible fatalities would be an acceptable number to warrant inviting all this extra traffic to the area? I would say none. We urge you not to give Francis a zoning change or a conditional use permit for a wedding venue. I've personally spoken with many neighbors that live in this area regarding these proposed changes. The 60+ signatures on the petition
30
opposing
seconds.
Francis's proposed changes is a small sample of the people in our neighborhood that are opposed to you granting these changes. David and I feel that allowing Francis to rezone and or allow a conditional use permit for a wedding venue on this property is not in keeping with the Town of Oakland growth plan and would cause undue hardship to everyone in this neighborhood. It would also not be respecting the opinions of many members of our community that signed the petition and feel this way. We appreciate your thoughtful consideration of our concerns.
Well done.
Good job.
Right on the ball.
Must have practiced.
Did you practice that?
Be prepared.
Just for clarification,
Yes.
we don't make a zoning, we can only recommend a zoning change.
Right.
We don't make the change as a
Right.
town board. We recommend that to the county.
Right.
So, okay. Okay, anyone else?
Go.
Hello, my name is David Schickel. My wife and I live directly across Highway C from Francis. 21 years ago, we started looking for a place slightly larger than our 5-acre parcel that we had. We wanted to make sure our 2 sons would learn the value of living and working on a farm. Before we purchased it, we researched the 20-acre farm that we now own. We learned that the original homestead was 120 acres, had been split 3 times. The 120 acres became our 20 acres of A1 zone land, Dwayne Hathaway's 10 acres with a pond, and Francis's 90 acres of A1 zone land. We would be surrounded by nothing but nature and farmland. Through our research, we also learned that according to Jefferson County rules, the property could never be divided again, which meant we would always be living in a farming neighborhood with great rural character. We would not have to worry about a subdivision, an industrial park, or any other commercial businesses that are associated with urban life competing on us. It was just the place we wanted for our family. Now I feel that is in jeopardy. I don't mean to tell Francis what he can and cannot do with his property. The rules put in place by Jefferson County determined that before he bought it, just as it did for us and Mr. Hathaway. People took a great deal of time doing research and gave thoughtful consideration to creating and adopting a comprehensive growth plan for the Township of Oakland and Jefferson County. These plans were put in place for a good reason, to preserve farmland and to create specific area for commercial business and urban growth. A rezoning and variance have already been given to this farm, creating what we see today. How many more times are we going to chip away at it before it no longer looks like a farm at all? Those rules need to be kept in place and followed. I feel rezoning A1 farmland is a bad idea. Once farmland is converted into something else, like parking lots, buildings, and roads, it is almost impossible to turn back to farmland. Thanks for your time.
Okay, anyone else?
Donald Last. And I'll get to the significance of those in just a couple of minutes, a minute. I have 3 minutes. We live at the 8898 County Road C, and our property is adjacent to Mr. Winooski's. We're the neighbors close to the proposed orchard and proposed wedding garden. We first met a couple of years ago when Mr. Winooski came to our home and asked if he could use our driveway and wait for large trucks to access some of his property. We had a nice chat. My wife and I did not want the heavy loads in our driveway to refuse his proposal. I commend Mr. Winooski on use of his land for an orchard, but his big operation with multiple produce and greenhouse would generate a lot of traffic in the dangerous stretch of County Road C. Mr. Wisniewski suggested putting in a new driveway near ours. I do not see that as an option at all. Reason being, the Postal Service will not allow us to have our mailbox on our side of the road due to the blind spots and danger to the delivery person. The postmaster has been out and done a study of the area before and after the road was redone, and says it's just too dangerous. It was too dangerous for the postal delivery person who was there only seconds a day, how could it possibly safe for hundreds of vehicles after considering a new driveway. The proposed wedding garden is very close to our house. I do not want a party in my front yard every weekend. I do not want to hear the band music, cars honking, general party kind of noise that the wedding reception create. We do not live in the country and my half-mile off the road to be subjected to this. This is an agriculture area. It's not a big city weekend party retreat. Mr. Wisniewski also states that a wedding guest may be using his house. Does that mean like a bed and breakfast residence? Now the pictures I gave you come into play here. Mr. Wisniewski states that his tree lines will absorb the noise. First of all, since he cut many of the trees in the woods between his property, it's going to take a long time for that to happen. In 2017, when he cut the trees, we could not imagine what he was thinking. It literally looks like a tornado went through this. And we see the mess every time we drive in and out of our driveway. Understand they are his trees to do with what he wants. But to just take out what he wanted and leave the mess without cleaning up doesn't make good neighbors. Mr. Wisniewski's caretaker, Todd, asked me if another person with a pickup truck could use our driveway to access these trees for firewood. I said, yes, by all means, but no one ever did. That, along with all the problems the wedding party will bring, makes me worry about our property value decreasing. I, like many seniors, our home and land is an asset we may have to count on to provide care as we continue to age. Mr. Winooski's plan do not add value to the neighborhood. He devalues the quiet agricultural neighborhood we now have. To sum up, I've checked the rezoning and the conditional use permit for the following reasons. This is an agricultural...
30 seconds.
Party barn is not agriculture, and I feel that the rezoning request is granted is just a stepping stone to more development. The party barn and all that is associated will endanger property value, along with our neighbor's property value, and the quality of living. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Good.
Anybody else?
Okay, I'm still having a problem with my eyesight, so you have to give a little bit of extra time to the handicapped here.
3 minutes.
Okay. My name is Barb Mack, and I'm a resident of the town of Oakland. Mr. Wisniewski and I share a common boundary line for approximately 1/3 of a mile. His proposed venues are on that side of the property. I, along with many people in this neighborhood, bought this property because of its rural nature. I wanted an area in which to raise my sheep and enjoy a rural life. When the growth plan was approved and put in place, it solidified my decision to live in Oakland Township. The growth plan was a promise made by the people of the town of Oakland, entrusted to the Oakland Town Board for Administration, and used by the Plan Committee as its ultimate guide in evaluating petitions brought before it. The promises noted in the executive summary of the growth plan. 1, maintain and preserve the town of Oakland's rural character and agricultural resources. 2, protect sensitive natural resources within and around the town of Oakland. 3, new growth should occur within the urban service area and focus on developing housing for all cycles of life. The actions requested by Mr. Wisniewski's petitions do not preserve the rural character of the township, do not protect sensitive natural resources such as the creek that runs through his land or the land needed for additional septic systems to support his requested wedding public party venue, and it certainly is not in the urban service area. The growth plan lists no less than 9 areas which pertain to Mr. Wisniewski's petitions. All have the underlying goal of maintaining the rural character of the town, and none would support the use of a pole shed as a wedding public party barn. The intent of the growth plan is clear. The rural agricultural area is to be maintained. We've heard about agritourism and barn weddings. Let's review the state's intention on this issue. Since 1997, when legislators noticed that many of Wisconsin's historic timber and frame barns were falling down due to little use and no upkeep, measures were placed to repurpose these historic barns in hopes of maintaining the rural character of Wisconsin. Bills were introduced, regulations passed, some regulations were eased, all to encourage the repurposing of these historical frame and timber barns. The state's intent was to repurpose historic barns. Mr. Wisniewski's pole shed serves no historic purpose.
30 seconds.
It's not agricultural use and would house a commercial venue not suited in an agriculture area. The growth plan is clear. The state's intention regarding historic barn preservation is clear. Certainly, the petition containing more than 60 signatures of Mr. Wisniewski's neighbors in opposition is clear. I would ask that the members of the Oakland Town Board make their intentions clear. Keep the promises made to the residents of Oakland Township by the growth plan. Maintain our rural character and deny this petition for rezoning and the CUP. Thank you.
Okay, anyone else?
Hi,
Hello.
my name is Sue Everett. I live on Everett Lane. I have a farm store, a business on Highway C, along with many other businesses on Highway C. We have we have Mountain Man Guns, which is just off of Highway C. We have a Wholesome Harvest, which is directly off of Highway C. We have Busy Barns, which is 1.3 miles on Highway 12. We have 2 wedding venues in the town of Oakland that I know of, one on North Oakland Road and one on State Highway 12, along with agritourism as well. The wedding venue on North Oakland Road is an actual barn. Busy Barns is a pole shed built to look like a barn. We also have a tree gentleman that sells trees at the end of Highway C as well. I was at the planning meeting, and I heard many comments about, we bought property out here for peace and quiet. Where are the people coming from? Milwaukee, Chicago. There was even a comment about hoodlums and drugs coming up. This is a pick your own orchard. We are told to buy local, or we are asked to buy local. These are blueberries, cherries, apple trees. I don't know if the board has gotten a chance to go out and look, but his greenhouses have strawberries that are at this level to pick, so you don't have to bend down. We're losing many retail storefronts due to the fact that a lot of stuff is going online. Our highways are bypassing small town America. So we have to get creative. Cambridge is lucky, yet still struggling in the town. Milton isn't as fortunate. Jefferson isn't fortunate, and neither is Watertown. Those are just a few in the area. People are now looking for experiences and destinations to go to. Yes, Francis is.
30 seconds.
Francis is from Chicago, but he'd like to invest in this community, to bring tax revenue into this area, to help other local businesses. We should welcome him with open arms. And as a business owner, I ask if the town of Oakland is open for business. Thank you.
Anyone else? If not,
Yeah.
oh,
I'm Jim Carlson, I live on Retzloff Road, and I go to Cambridge several times a week. And every time I go down the corner, I turn left to go to Cambridge on County Road C. The barn is right there, and you can't see cars coming from the east. And so I'm definitely against that. Because if there's more traffic on there, it's gonna be a whole lot worse than what it is now.
Okay, anyone else? Board members?
I have a question for Francis.
Sure.
Sounds like you want to do some farming.
Yeah, we're definitely planning a orchard.
Talk about the farming part of it a little more, would you please?
So far, we've planted 2,000 apple trees. We've planted 1,000 blueberry bushes. We're erecting a 30,000 square foot hoop house for strawberries and for strawberry picking. We have plans for 5,000 more apple trees in the next 2 years. As a pick your own, it'll take years to develop the trees in order to be able to be a sustainable business. So it's not it's not like we'll be creating traffic next year that would be significant, but if we're successful, there's a possibility 5 years down the road that we could create some traffic and a successful business.
What's your distribution strategy if it's not a pick your own?
We are doing hydroponic strawberries. We're doing high density apple trees. We're using the land and the water as conservatively as you could possibly use it. We would use farmer markets and local, even as much like Whole Foods, to be able to sell we'll have 12-month strawberry production, that we'll be able to have local strawberries more than 1 month out of the year. So we'll be able to hopefully sell at farmers markets, and even as, like I said, as big as Whole Foods would be a possibility.
Are you living on the farm now?
Yeah, I sold my house in Chicago 18 months ago, and I've been pretty much a full-time resident since then.
And what is it you're constructing right now? I heard that
It's a
you're,
hoop house. It's 4 hoop houses that would kind of combine. It's kind of 1 hoop house or 4, depending on.
What is that? What is it? Explain what that is, please.
It's less than a greenhouse.
Oh.
It's not as permanent as a greenhouse, but it would be used about 8 months out of the year to be able to farm early and later into the year.
What do you farm in a hoop house?
Well, in particular, we're doing strawberries, but
Oh.
you could do kind of any vegetable fruit that would fit underneath it.
Those you typically see for greenhouses for flowers, that kind of thing. Like on South Oakland Road, there's,
It allows you to start earlier in the season and
Oh, I see.
go longer into the year. I mean, my goal is to invest in this area. You just talked about a shortage of funds for next year. That's going to, as a trader for 27 years, we're not looking at a very great economy for the next 3 to 5 years. And there's a big chance that, funding will be short for a long time to come. So I think encouraging investment, not just in my farm, but in all of Oakland Township is a goal that the board should take up.
Can you speak about the wedding barn thing a little bit more? Sounds like there's a lot of concern here about the wedding barn thing, and I'm not hearing a lot of concern about the farming portion of it. So is there any chance that you could revisit the wedding barn portion of this, or?
That's yes, so the wedding barn would require rezoning. According to the research that I've done recently, just found out in the last 2 weeks that a pick your own orchard we wouldn't need to rezone to do the orchard. That A1 is a pick your own
it's an ag use.
ag use. So, if you do decide that the wedding barn does not fit into, the county plans or the township plans, the pick your own orchard, we plan to still go forward with it.
but he would still need a CUP for that?
Well, the CUP is for the sales, so,
A pick your own would require a CUP? No?
No, pick your own is an ag use.
Yeah,
Oh,
If you have a store there. If you
a little
put
farm store.
Little farm store there, then that's a CUP.
Right, so if, if we did decide that, if you deny the rezoning, we would just 100% be a picture on.
Can I make a suggestion, Francis?
Certainly.
I don't think there's anybody on the board that's going to oppose a farming operation like you're talking about. But this wedding thing seems to be a big issue. And if you're willing to revisit that, or at least wait and talk to these neighbors that you have, they're very uncomfortable here. And I
Yeah.
think that's a big part of this.
I completely understand. I mean, when I started the process, I didn't know the resistance to it. The wedding barn is set back 400 yards from the road. So the noise impact of the barn would be less significant. But I'm definitely willing to revisit it, down the road. Honestly, the wedding barn is probably used 30 to 40 times a year on a Saturday. The pick your own is going to be a more disruptive business, I guess, if my neighbors want to see it that way. But it's,
More disruptive,
I mean, there's more traffic to it, and there's, it's daytime traffic, right? It's going to be 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. type of traffic, but
probably not a large number at one time.
during apple season, if we had a significant, if we got to 20,000 trees and the business was going well, it could be, 100 cars at a time. I mean, that's.
Well, if you had that many trees, I doubt that you're gonna sell, pick your own apples on all those trees. You're gonna have to find a market for those, farmer's market.
It's a possibility, that's why we've actually
Whole Foods.
diversified. Whereas, in the surrounding area, you have a lot of apple farms, you have strawberry picker farms, you have cherry farms, whatever. We planted cherry trees, apple trees, strawberries. I think we will be smaller on a daily basis than most of these
Yeah.
places will be, but more consistent throughout the year is the plan.
well, I agree with the wedding barn. I would not go for that because I grew up on Evenson Road, which is just down from where your place is, and I've driven that Highway C many times. If you don't know the road, if you got people coming in, especially after they've had alcohol, it's a very dangerous road area right in there.
I mean, I understand the concerns. I mean, our goal is to minimize them as much as we can, work with our neighbors where we can. I don't want to impact, I know I feel, my neighbors that live across the street, I feel like I'm going to impact the most, and I, don't feel great about that, but it's, part of, owning a property and doing what you feel is the best use for it, so.
What were the plan committee's thoughts?
Plan committee voted 3 opposed to both the rezone and the CUP. And the question was raised whether or not the use of continuing to have apples, cherries, strawberries was appropriate for A1 and didn't require the CUP. And based on that, 3 people voted against granting either of those. Rightfully, Barb abstained as a neighbor, and I abstained having to deal with this tonight. So that was what the plan committee recommendation was.
Seems to me.
Well, it's on the agenda, it's 2 separate items. Can we approve the farming part and the sales of the farming part and not the wedding barn portion?
He already has that, right?
We don't need to.
We don't have to prove
The
anything.
ag thing, that's A1.
Yeah.
That's what it's zoned
They're
for.
saying that you don't need a CUP
He can do what he's
to
going to
pick
do
your
without
own.
our proving anything. Right, at least that's my understanding.
Right, that's why I was confused
Unless
why.
he has a store like Ebert.
But if he wants a store, he needs to,
That's essentially what it would be, is the CUP is essentially for the store.
not for the wedding barn.
No. The wedding bar, the rezone is required.
Okay,
for
so
the
we could
wedding
approve the one and not the other, is my
barn. You
question.
can do that, yes.
But he doesn't.
Right, but
need
we
any
don't,
of it.
we don't need to, right?
Right.
Correct.
You could either approve the wedding barn or do nothing, I guess. Or
Excuse
disapprove
me,
it.
Yeah.
Chris, but at Plan Committee, I specifically asked Francis what this rezoning was for,
Mm-hmm.
and specifically said the rezoning was for the wedding barn.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the only other time you'd have to rezone is if you put a store up. I think if you put a store up there to sell apples, cherries, blueberries, whatever, I believe that would then require a rezone on that parcel.
Can I comment again?
Yes,
I talked to Matt Sangle
Yeah.
about that specifically. And as it is right now, you can put up like a stand to take the
Okay,
cash
yeah.
in, sell a bag of apples, but you
Right.
can't have a store.
a store,
So
right.
we could, there is the provision is there that he can have some type of mechanism to take the cash, collect the cash and
Yeah.
sell a bag of apples, as it is under A1.
It's a sales collection instead of basically already having the goods there.
Yeah,
So
Right.
it maintains the idea of you pick 'em,
right,
which you'd need to have. I mean, you gotta have
Yeah.
even if you go buy a Christmas tree, you gotta go pay for it.
exactly.
Yeah.
So are you planning for a store or this other option are you thinking about?
Actually, I mean, if I had to amend, I found out about the A1 zoning in the last 2 weeks.
Okay.
If I had to amend the application, it would just be for the wedding barn and no store.
So the
So I-
easiest thing would be to deny
Right,
both.
that's what I'm
Right.
coming at.
And-
I would agree.
With that.
I'll make a motion that we disapprove, what is it, number 8 and number 9?
Right.
I'll second it.
Okay, motion's made and seconded to turn down the action to rezone 5.28 acres to A2 zoning, and also to deny action on a CUP for a wedding venue. Any further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Thank you, Francis.
Thank you.
Thank you all, too. Okay, next item, discussion and possible action regarding billing excessive assessment cost to J.D. Pounder and Associates. Chris, can you fill us in on what
I can.
that amounts to?
So in April, we had a meeting regarding the excessive assessments. What the board had decided in April was to bill the cost of the taxes to J and D Pounder. And after consulting with Mary about this, we couldn't do that because those weren't our taxes to collect in the first place. So in speaking with Diane, in emailing back and forth with John, would be willing to step up and clarify, and make sure I'm right, and reimburse us for our costs, essentially our attorney fees and a little bit of my time. They are waiting for a bill from us, but I didn't want to make anything up until something was approved tonight. But again, I consulted with Mary about it, and it's both her opinion and my opinion that what I just said, what we want to do to give them a bill tonight, was not what the board approved at the end of April, and so that's why it's here to make that decision tonight. How did I do? I just want to make sure I'm good. I just want to make sure I'm good.
You told me you were gonna explain.
Okay, I guess, we're looking at two excessive assessment claims. One was denied, one was granted. And we were looking at paying the town's loss. Jim and I talked about that on the phone one day. And we were talking like $147. I don't know if that's in the ball, $147. Is that in the ballpark, Chris?
That's in the ballpark for me. The ballpark for Mary is a little bit more than that. It's going to be somewhere in the $400 to $500 range.
We would like an itemized bill on that, because you're talking about $140.
Oh, absolutely.
in taxes.
Yeah.
And you're spending $500 to make a decision on that. And it would be itemized because one was denied, so that we're not being responsible for that, we'd be responsible for the one that was
Right.
granted.
Yep.
We need to make sure that on Bailing's bill, that the other one, there was some cost on the other one as
Yep.
well.
They're not
That
included.
that's not included in that.
Not a problem.
It's only this.
So what we looking for is a motion to authorize the sending of an invoice to John for costs associated with the one assessment, right?
The one that was approved, yes.
Yeah, the one
Yep.
that was approved. Is that?
Yes, that was actually, that's perfect.
Okay. I so move.
I got it.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, motion's made and seconded to bill J.D. Powner and Associates for our costs associated with the excessive assessment cost for the one that was approved.
No, well, we can't assess what the school district got and all the other entities.
No, we don't have
Right.
anything to do with that. That all goes to the state.
Okay.
That's what when we met in May or April, whenever that was, we weren't sure how to handle this.
Right.
Because we'd never had one before. So that all ends up at the state. They disperse it. Okay, any further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Okay, next item, discussion and possible action regarding the contract with J.D. Powner and Associates. Basically, it's the same as last year and, 3 years, I think now.
Strictly a maintenance proposal.
Yes, strictly maintenance, yes.
I just wanted to address something
Go ahead.
with the, kind of associated with the excessive taxes. That is part of our contract. We do that for everyone we're assessors for, that if there's an error and we are at fault for that error, that we automatically pay that. You know, we're not expecting the town to pay for something that was a fault, whether it be our software or us personally or whatever the case may be. So just so you know that that is part of the contract, it's kind of inherent in the contract.
It's an implied.
Yeah.
Right,
It is.
so, and, I mean, it's, you know, that, I know John had talked to Eugene and you had said, you guys had talked about it and stuff, so I just wanna let you guys know that is what we do. We don't have an issue with that because, you know, it kind of is a check and balance for us as well. You know, what could we have done differently, or, you know, how could we have checked it a little better, kind of thing and stuff. So we're not expecting the town to pay for those things out of their own pocket. That comes off of, that's for us to, you know, to deal with and to pay you guys back for it.
Okay.
And the only thing that we ask is just that we do get the itemized bill, just so that we have it in our records and stuff, and it's not like it's taken off of something, so that it's like, okay, well, why did we do it this way, or whatever, so that's just why we're
Yeah.
asking for that.
Well, and we actually talked about having Mary review the contract to make sure the language was appropriate. Did that happen?
Yeah.
Yeah, she didn't have a problem with it.
No, she didn't, none at all.
So it was
Okay,
16 years as the assessor with one error.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good.
I've always said, John, it's a good thing you got Diane watching over you. I mean, and I'm glad you came. I haven't seen you in 2 years.
See,
Yeah.
I do exist.
Yeah, but I was a little afraid you were scared of us or something. I didn't know.
So anyways, it's strictly a maintenance contract. that
Right.
We talked about before, and there's nothing changed in the base of the contract.
I'll make a motion to approve the contract for 2021.
Oh, second.
Okay, motion's made and seconded to approve the contract for J.D. Powner and Associates for 2021. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
You want to sign it? You want me to sign it?
I can sign it.
Yes. Oh, sure. One more. You want that one?
Doesn't matter. Whichever one you're comfortable with. Thank you. Thank you.
Did you sign one, John?
He
got
did.
it. Yeah.
Sign both of them.
Okay, just making sure.
Everybody signed everything. We are covered.
Okay, I'm gonna need a drink of water for these next ones.
Do we have an extra liquor license we
This-
can have? Never mind.
Discussion and possible action regarding cold storage for the public works. Jeff's running out of room.
Really running out of room.
I think he's coming up front.
Yeah, I'm coming up. With the increasing amount of foot traffic we have around here due to our compost, brush, and everything else, I don't like leaving our equipment outside, and we don't have a lot of room for our equipment. Case in point, when we had floor done, obviously we had to have everything parked outside. I had a load of cold mix in one of our dump trucks. Somebody took cold mix out of our dump truck.
Huh.
I mean, if you wanna climb up there and get the cold mix out of it, that's whatever, but, I mean, it's pushing it. What else are they checking out, walking around with? And it's just a matter of time for something to vandalize again.
Well, that's why we had to put cameras in.
You know, cameras don't cover everything though.
No, I know, but
They help.
that is the reason
Yeah.
we did it.
Oh, yeah, yeah. And not to say, you know, the sun doesn't do very good things for these equipment when you got
No,
windows
we-
rolled up tight.
We need it inside.
So where are we talking about? Or what are we talking about?
Well, we got about a third of the cold storage unit storing Lake District, weed harvester, and elevator.
Really?
Here, we're out of here.
We're out of there.
They're on this side, right?
We're not in there anymore, are we?
Oh, there's a trailer in there yet.
Oh, we want to put the trailer outside?
Well,
What's the winter that you're
In the
most
winter.
concerned about? And
and
that's,
whenever the equipment's in there, you know, the equipment is in there, is out of there June to September. And then there's that gap when I don't have the snow equipment on or have the snow equipment off, that we don't have a lot of room. And their future has been told to me that there's a UTV that's gonna be coming with a trailer. That's gonna have access during the wintertime, and I don't know where that's gonna be.
My house would be okay.
Really?
Well, if it can sit
He's got a
outside.
patrol, he said. We built for the future, and the future caught up to us.
yeah.
So do we rent this to Lake Management?
Yes.
Or, so we have an agreement?
Mm-hmm.
20 years.
20 years.
Yearly renewable.
It's the agreement is, you need to give them, I think, 90 days notice.
Oh, I think it's more than that. I think it's
120.
120.
120?
Yeah.
And,
And if I remember, I don't know. I think it has to be by July 1st, but I don't remember. Don't quote me on that. But I think 120 sounds,
I didn't bring it
Very
along,
familiar.
I got it at home.
So we would need to notify them by November, or by
July 1st.
July 1st if we wanted to
Get it by November.
get it by November?
I believe so.
Is that enough then?
Well, I don't wanna throw them out in a loop, and, you know, this conversation is to get stuff started.
Right.
You know, don't wanna leave you guys with nothing, here, you got nothing, all winter long, you gotta think about.
Well, it sounded like that was going that way for a minute here, Jeff. You had Ted jumping on.
Well, we could push.
Hey, what about shrink wrapping it?
Yeah, that's a pretty expensive harvester,
Well, on the same aspect, I got some pretty
I
expensive
understand.
trucks that
I was
gotta-
just gonna say, there's probably a lot more money in the trucks than there is in that harvester. But,
So, I mean, we gotta discuss it.
I
We
think,
gotta look at planning and.
I think the
go
Lake
forward.
District should consider putting up a pole shed, probably out by that parking area out there, to store that. Because you really don't need, you don't need anything warm, you don't need a furnace, you don't need any of that, it's just strictly a pole shed.
Don't
that
need a
you can lock
concrete
up.
floor.
Don't need a concrete floor, I mean, it's just,
I mean, there's a lot of things we can talk about. It's first I heard of it.
Yeah.
I never-
And you guys, did you ever close on that other property? I mean, you've got.
We're still in closed session on that.
Because
And
you've
that-
got a fair amount of property that's,
There could be some options in the near future. But again, it's the first I heard of it.
Not trying to blindside you.
Oh, no, not at all.
I mean,
In the
that's
middle
why
of a
we're bringing
meeting.
it up at a meeting and.
well, there is one other option. I can't think of his name off the top of my head, the people that own the land, the field over here with the building on the other side. That would be a possibility, you could rent a spot in there for the winter. I can get his name, he calls me about every 3 months, but I can't ever remember. As you get older, the memory goes kind of downhill. But that would be something I could explore as well.
Yeah, we can look at, it's first I've heard of it. So, yeah, we can look at some stuff. If you're talking that we gotta be out by, by winter, that's gonna be a little bigger ask, but we'll see what we can do.
Yeah, I don't foresee us getting any more equipment. I mean, we'll pack in and move stuff around and we can probably make it work another year. Just when that UTV comes, it's gonna get tight. As it is now, we have to rotate stuff in to get a piece of equipment out. So when the harvester is out, it makes it a lot easier,
Oh, yeah. Takes up
And
long.
I think it'd be easier for the police when they try to get their boats and, because right now they pull them in and they tell me to pack them. And they've been packed in pretty tight, haven't they, Dave? Yes, sir, you have.
It's almost to the point where you gotta stand it up.
We gotta work to put a wood out.
There.
Hey, can we stand that up? Okay.
Well, that would be something maybe discuss with your board, and if you would want to give this gentleman a call. He lives in Wanakee, but he manages the old Bosby grain plant out there. I cannot think of his name.
Yeah,
He'll
that-
come to
that
me
would be
about
the-
4 o'clock tomorrow morning.
Is his name Mitch? Is it Mitch?
That don't sound right.
Obviously, that would be an ideal fix for a winter until we figure
Oh,
something
yeah,
out.
yeah. And I think that door on the east side is plenty big for that, to get it in there.
Yeah, east or west?
Oh, probably either end. Probably drive right through that one, it'd be easier to store it.
Yeah, I don't know what he's got in there.
Yeah, I don't
know he's
either.
got a security system on it.
Yeah,
Yeah. Well, we'll start talking about it again.
okay.
Do you want me to have this on for July's meeting?
Yeah, why don't you put it
Keep
on?
it, just kind of keep it on and
Keep it warm.
keep the discussion going?
Yeah, if we can find a quick fix from the local guy here, then that would solve this fairly quickly. If not, we're gonna kind of scramble, right, to figure out what to do this winter.
You have a lot of residents here that,
Oh, that's a big piece of equipment.
yeah.
It's as big as a combine.
Yeah, it's big.
yeah,
Well, it's
it's
bigger than a
huge.
combine.
Yeah, is it?
How long is that? That's gotta be 60 feet long, don't it?
Oh, I bet you she's pretty close.
Yeah, on the trailer,
Yeah.
A lot of farmers here today, I think. Maybe somebody can volunteer or. Okay, we'll get on the agenda.
Rent a
and we'll-
spot.
yeah, we'll start talking about it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jeff. Okay, discussion and possible action to grant mobile home park licenses to Geneva Rindall Trust, doing business as Ripview Court, Asset Development Group, doing business as Oak Ridge Mobile Community, and Breezy Knoll MHP, doing business as Breezy Knoll.
That's all right, just ignore me.
Oh.
Wouldn't be the first time.
Are there any discussion points that we ought to be concerned about?
Everybody is
Everybody's
paid.
paid?
Everybody is paid in full. It took a little teeth grinding, but everybody's paid in full. All the fees are paid in full. Everything's ready to rock.
Then I'd make a motion that we approve the 3 mobile home park licenses.
I'll second it.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Discussion and possible action regarding liquor license for establishments in Oakland for a period of July 1st, 2020 through June 30th, 2021.
Good catch, thank you.
Class A beer, Class B beer, Class A liquor, and Class B liquor, the bait shanty 2. We'll take these all separate.
Make a motion, we approve the abate shanty to Class A, Class B, Class A liquor, and Class B liquor.
Second?
I'll second it.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Class A beer, Class B beer, and Class B liquor. Lake Ripley Lanes, Sports Page Bar and Grill, Lake Ripley Country Club, Oakland Center Tavern.
I'll make a motion to approve those 4.
Well
Second.
said.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed?
Aye.
Carried. Class B beer, Class B liquor, and Class C wine for the Mink Farm.
I'll move to approve the license for the mink farm.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Class B beer and Class B liquor, Jefferson Speedway and Herrings Lake Ripley Inn.
I'll make a motion to approve Jefferson Speedway and Herrings Ripley Inn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Class B beer, Oakland Conservation Club.
I'll move to approve the Oakland Conservation Club Class B beer license.
Second.
What happened here? Okay. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Discussion and possible action regarding cigarette license for the time period July 1st, 2020 through June 30th, 2021. Bait Shanty 2, the Lake Ripley Country Club, and the Mink Farm Tavern.
Chris, I was under the impression that we talked about this last year and that we no longer needed to act on these, that this was a clerk decision.
No, we still do.
We still do.
We still do.
Yeah, we still do
Yep.
as a board.
Okay.
Do I have a motion?
Move that we grant cigarette licenses.
Second.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Discussion and possible action regarding operator's license for a time period of July 1st, 2020 through June 30th, 2021. Herrings Lake Ripley Inn, Kristen Apple, Francis Coy, Hannah Dempsey, Ashley Green, John Hinrich, Lisa Riedel, and Jean Schradel.
So moved. I'll make a motion to approve as presented.
Okay, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Aye.
Carried. Lake Ripley Inn, Lake Ripley Country Club, Christopher Allen, Brian Bailey, Taylor Beanfang, Stephen Borkart, Nicole Thorson, Samuel Carrig, Ben Engelstead, Eric Engelstead, Lee Furseth, David Jensen, Margaret Mickelson, Sarah Mickelson, Samuel Mickelson, Julie Mickelson, Ann Nottestead, Quinn O'Connor, Daniel Pepe, Jack Rindle, Caitlin Robinson, Nicole Thorson, Hannah Thorson, Deborah Wethel, Jonathan Zelmer, and Keegan Zabel.
Watch out for that Wethel.
Yeah.
Move
And
we-
Nottestead.
Move that we approve the bartenders for Lake Ripley Country Club.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
You guys must do a lot
Opposed?
of drinking there.
Carried.
That's for sure.
J&T Bait Shanty 2, Cynthia Dudley and Tammy Eggers.
I'll make a motion to approve the J&T Bait Shanty, Cynthia and Tammy.
Second.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Jefferson Speedway, Taylor Ask, Carl Bogotsky, Cindra Brody, Angela Horton, William Robertson, William Sweeney, and Terry Tucker.
Before you guys motion, there are 2 operators licenses. We're going to get to the second one, but there are 2 operators licenses that I use this as a training opportunity for Susan as well, because she had never done this before. So we were both going over them. And William Sweeney's operator's license, we found some things that he did not disclose. If you turn to the second page, and I don't mean to single him out, but he was one of the ones that missed something. If you turn to the second page, question 5, have you ever been arrested? He circled yes, and he wrote DUI. As a part of the normal background check process that I did on CCAP, I put a note at the top of it that I highlighted for you. He received his 4th OWI in January, and the case is still currently open. Obviously, you can see he did not disclose he had more than one. So I don't normally recommend approval or denial of really anything unless it like directly affects me, but this is one of those things that I would recommend not approving this operator's license for a couple of reasons. One, he didn't disclose that there was more than one, and 2, there is one that is currently open.
So he's not been convicted of that?
He has not yet.
You cannot say that he's guilty of that?
He is not guilty, but it was listed as open. So
I'm looking on his application, and where does it say 1?
I think Bruce.
It does not
It
say
does not say one.
a
We've
number.
had this
He just
discussion in the
says,
past. Pretty tough to turn down an operator's license.
I guess my thought is, you're looking at, he's got 3 convictions right now.
Yes.
3 OWIs. He is pending a possible 4th conviction and working his way towards felony OWI in prison.
You think that's what might happen on the 4th one?
4th one, I don't think he'll get prison. He'll probably get a pretty long jail time and probably get Uber out of it. It's typically what the courts have been doing in Jefferson County. Now I say that, they'll do something different.
Yeah.
But that's pretty much what I had seen in my 30 years at the county. How close are those OWIs in years is something I would be concerned with if they're spread out, years apart, because we count everything now in Wisconsin. If you had one in 1971, it counts.
Mhm.
Yeah.
If these are close together, this tells me this is someone that's got a problem, and they need to address that issue with counseling or whatever it takes. That we want them in an environment that we're encouraging, because you know how it is when I've bartended, you're sitting in a bar, even though you even have rules in the bar that says you can't drink behind the bar, you know everybody does, plain and simple. Everybody takes a sip here or there, some people go a little crazy. When I see that they've got this number of issues, it's a red flag to me, saying, we might want to reevaluate this. Is this somebody that we want to have that maybe they leave the racetrack now and they've imbibed, and now we've got somebody on the road that shouldn't be, and then we have to go to work. And I'd say, be cautious.
Do you have any idea how close together they are?
I do. They were, and I, if you wanted me to, I could look for sure, but they were about every 3 to 4 years apart. The first 3.
He's 50 years old.
So the other thing that I will say is a little bit echoing what Chief said, but all the training that I have been to, if somebody was convicted of like a domestic or a speeding ticket or something like that, something that's not related to serving alcohol, we don't even consider that, because the only reason you know about this is because it's related to alcohol. That's the only way that I will ever disclose that to you. So if there's other stuff that comes up, like a bankruptcy or something like that, not related at all, you guys wouldn't even know about it unless you went on CCAP. I'm with Chief. It's a little bit of a red flag. Well, it is a red flag to me because I said it was. The other thing I will say is this is not granting him an operator's license. That would not preclude him from working. He would just need to be supervised by somebody who does have an operator's license.
You have to have one operator's license
Right.
on premise at time.
Yes.
Yeah.
So if you think this would preclude him from working, that is not.
Yeah, I just want to clarify something. Question 5, he's answered correctly. If we want to know how many, then we need to write that on there.
Right.
And I can change that, and I will change that.
Because I just want to make sure he did not incorrectly fill out his application.
Correct.
So if we're going to deny it, it's going to be strictly on he's got so many. And if that's the case, then we should set a standard, because I'm sure somebody else has probably got a couple too that we're approving. So we better be cautious there, that's all I'm saying.
Good point. So, that's my 2 cents on that.
Okay, thank you.
Welcome back.
Thanks.
What's your pleasure?
More than likely, he's going to be working with someone, if it's, at least unless it's the end of the night or something.
I've been at Jefferson Speedway more times than I can count. And in the liquor part, in the banquet hall or whatever you might want to call it, there's never less than 2 in there. I've never seen him in there. He's in the beer part, and there's always 2 or 3 in there.
Maybe
So,
we just overlook it at this juncture and see if he is.
well, maybe we just deny it. and Let him work
Deny
it.
his license,
Yeah.
and then it's up to him
Doesn't-
whether he keeps
doesn't
that
matter.
job.
To me, I guess. I just don't know.
If we deny it, does he have some way to fix that?
No.
Not
I mean,
really.
he can apply again. I mean,
Yeah.
he could come, he could ask us to reconsider it, and he could come before you and plead his case, if that's.
Okay, so I mean, there is
Oh,
an
yeah.
alternative, so.
Yeah, I mean, we don't, I mean, this isn't a big deal. I mean, it's a $25 renewal, so he won't get his $25 back. But if he wanted to apply again
Don't look
or
like he
appeal
paid-
this,
Don't look like you paid it yet.
he did. I think I forgot to fill it in on there. But he could appeal to you guys and go that route, if that's something that he chose to do.
Why would a January OWI not have been handled at this point?
The courts are so backlogged with the COVID and everything else.
Oh,
That's what I was thinking.
Okay.
Passed on them.
Yeah,
They
we're
haven't
not,
met for 3 months.
we won't have trials in Dane County until probably November.
Oh, wow.
Really?
I mean, there's not going to be a jury that wants to spend all day together in a jury room.
Okay.
they have to
Okay, then
prepare for
That
that.
makes sense. That
Unless you
makes
just
sense.
have a judge.
Typically, an OWI takes anywhere from 6 months to a year for a conviction.
Okay,
It just moves that slow,
okay.
especially if they have an attorney, because there's motions, and it just goes back and forth between the DA's office and the attorneys, and it's that legalese that they do.
Okay, so let's do this. Let's break out Sweeney from Jefferson Speedway. Let's handle him individually.
I'll approve Jefferson Speedway, all names listed except for William Sweeney at this time.
I'll second that.
Okay, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Now we'll take up William Sweeney. Do I have a motion to approve or disapprove this operator's license application?
I guess I'm leaning a little bit towards disapproving with the idea that it further sends the message that this is serious.
Yeah.
You know, and you've had 3, and okay, you got a 4th one pending. You might need to take a hard look at what you're doing. And maybe you shouldn't be a bartender. So I would move to not grant it.
Deny it. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, motion's made and seconded to deny the operator's license application for William Sweeney. Any further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
I'm going to abstain.
Yeah,
One
me too.
abstain.
Got it?
I'm an aye.
Got it?
Okay, so this is denied.
Abstentions go with the majority, you know.
But
Okay,
Are they there?
I do agree that I'd like to, at some
I was
point,
gonna say
set a
no,
policy.
besides that.
We need a written policy as to,
well, it's all in,
It's-
what needs to be is on the application.
And
It
I'll
needs to
just,
say
I'll let you guys know, this is 1 year removed from what Veronica had. So I changed it last year as much as I could. I'm gonna change it this year a little bit more. we'll get, you're right, we'll get there. I would like to see that question worded a little bit better, so it's on my list.
Okay, next one, Lake Ripley Lanes, Elton Chia, Jennifer Grasty, Shelby Holcomb, Jean Jarlsberg, Carly Phelps, Kodiak Porter, Tobias Probst, Garrett Schradel, Nicholas Thorson, Laura Viney, and Kyra Wilger.
Lake Ripley Lanes, I'll approve. I'll make a motion to approve Lake Ripley Lanes.
Second.
Okay, motion's made and seconded to approve the bartenders for Lake Ripley Lanes. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Mink Farm Tavern, Julie Ann Anderson, Aaron Dorn, Callie Murphy, Robin Perman, Jeremias Probst, Roland Rather, Karen Robinson, and Joanne Zimmerman.
I'll make a motion to approve the Mink Farm Tavern applications.
Second.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Isn't there a name?
Carried. Oakland Center Tavern, Tiffany Laxton and Anita Skiami.
I'll move to approve the Oakland Center Tavern liquor license for Tiffany and Anita.
I'll second.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Carried. Oakland Conservation Club, Thomas Erkey.
Make a motion, we approve Thomas Erkey.
I'll second.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Sports Page Bar and Grill, Susan Engels, Leah Furseth, Crystal Jaskulski, Bridget Johnson, and Jesse Johnson.
All right, so one more that Susan found, Bridget Johnson. She did not, she wrote, have you ever been arrested? She circled no, and she actually did come up with an OWI in 2015 that wasn't disclosed. That was only her first offense, and there has been nothing else since then. So
Do we have that in our?
you should have that for Bridget Johnson.
Yeah.
But is it an arrest for a first offense?
I don't know anything wrong.
Well, if you get a DWI, you get arrested. Is that what you're asking?
Yeah, it's an OWI.
No, it's an OWI.
OWI would be,
That'd be an arrest.
yeah, first would be first offense, so it's a misdemeanor violation in the state of Wisconsin. It's a forfeiture action. The second offense, then would be a criminal charge.
So, for some reason, I don't see that one, but you're saying that it was improperly filled out on that?
Yes, so on that one, she circled no, and Susan actually found one that she was charged with OWI and convicted in 2015.
That's a problem.
So,
Yeah, that's,
So I'll make a motion then not to approve Bridget Johnson's and to approve the rest of the Sports Page Bar and Grill.
do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, motion's made and seconded to approve the bartender's license for the Sports Page Bar and Grill, except Bridget Johnson. We would deny her application. All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Carried. That's denied. Okay, next item, discussion and possible action regarding $1,200 donation to North Oakland Cemetery Association. Is that what we paid them last year? Do you?
it is.
see that?
Sounds right.
I had to look, but it is, yes.
Sounds right. I'll make a motion to approve the $1,200 for the cemetery. North Oakland Cemetery.
Second.
Okay, got a motion and a second to approve the $1,200 donation to North Oakland Cemetery Association. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Gene, is that the one on Perry just before 18?
Yes. Discussion and possible action regarding a joint development agreement with Ranger Power, Jefferson County, and the town of Jefferson. You got a copy of that some time ago.
Yep.
And there was some, and we pretty much had approved it at that time, but there was some questions from the town of Jefferson and the county of Jefferson attorney. And after about 3 meetings by phone, it was all those small issues were ironed out, and this is this one here is the final agreement.
That's a You saw it here, I had it.
You happen to have it there?
Yeah.
Yeah, here.
One of the things,
No, it's
Oh,
this. this-
one of the things that
Two of them.
was kind of not very clear. I better go by page or I won't see it. Okay. Was how the allocation of utility shared revenues was. That was kind of mucky in that first one they sent out. And that got,
It's on page 5.
yes, that got turned around. So the shared revenue the total shared revenue is estimated at $596,000. And the town of Jefferson and Oakland would split $248,333. And the other things that were changed were very minor, more wording. Insurance was a 45-minute conversation that nothing really even changed at the end of 45 minutes. We had two attorneys arguing.
And that just
The only
costs
thing
money.
that changed was their bill.
Yeah,
well,
that just costs money.
That's exactly what I thought, but who am I?
Although that was the one part that it did get better after they got done arguing. The insurance part was a little better.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, there was a certificate of insurance. I don't recall what the
yeah.
whole thing was. It was very boring sitting there listening to it, I can tell you that. So basically, that's it. That's the changes that were made. The planned start date, I should fill you in too. There's an application in right now to increase the size of this project by 50%. Alliant Energy purchased that much of a share of it. The sad news is none of that's in Oakland.
Oh, geez.
It's all in Jefferson.
I was just gonna say, it sounds like more revenue.
Yeah, I was glad Jeff called to tell me that, and then he gave me the bad news, and then it wasn't so good anymore.
That's too bad.
So I'd entertain a motion to approve or disapprove.
So move.
Approve.
Approve, yeah. Sorry.
Second.
Okay, motion's made and seconded to approve the joint development agreement between Badger State Solar, Jefferson County, and the town of Jefferson. Further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
The other towns have to approve too, I assume?
They're actually both, we're the last ones to approve.
You gotta sign it.
Yeah, I know. I might as well do it right away, then it's done. Sixteenth today?
16. Okay.
Okay, next item, discussion and possible action regarding the discussion and possible action regarding the road agreement with ACI Inc. If you remember, the original proposal from these folks was to use Hope Lake Road from the Hollenberger pit entrance to Bigelow, and from Hope Lake, Bigelow from Hope Lake to 18. Well, I thought if they're going to put a asphalt plant in there, they're going to want to be going in all directions. So I called Hope over at Lake Mills, the chairman, and asked her about it. She said, well, that makes sense, all of Hope Lake Road and Bigelow, and then Crossman, which goes out to A.
Yep.
Well, then, and I thought that was all done. So I went over to the meeting last Tuesday night at Lake Mills. Bob and I were both there. And they decided they don't want to do that. They're going to do their own road agreement with them for that Hope Lake Road segment from Hollenberger Pit entrance to Bigelow. So then Ted, our wordsmith, went back to changing it back to where it was. So now the agreement is for using Hope Lake Road from the exit of the pit to Bigelow, and Bigelow to 18.
Yep.
And it states that, but the only part that we're required to inspect is Bigelow Road.
Right.
Because 6/10 of a mile is Lake Mills.
Yeah, that 6/10 of a mile of Hope Lake is Hope. See, we split that with
Yep.
Lake Mills.
Yep.
So we have from Crossman west, they have from Crossman east to G. So. So we need to approve that road agreement.
Okay, I'll make a motion to approve the amended road agreement with ACI.
Second.
Okay, any further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Oh,
I think I got the better deal that night. Gene had to go to Lake Mills and put up with this. I only had to go to the county board on Didion's property and that resolution for that. I got the better deal.
there you go. Man, oh, damn it, he signed the wrong one too.
What was the
Had him sign this one.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
Granted, they moved it out of ag preservation into 15-year growth.
And
then
this
I
is the
think we-
16th.
Yep.
Well, if you ever answer my phone call.
And this we have. I have that one that you gave me.
Okay.
Find it.
I ended up with two of these. Is that one of these
Okay, right
yours?
here.
No, I had mine.
So this is done,
Beautiful.
and we'll need to have him sign that and send that back.
Yep.
Yeah, that ended up being a bigger cluster than I thought it would. Okay. Correspondence, no court dockets yet. They haven't got those done. The planning committee minutes are in there. Next item is approval of disbursements.
I'll make a motion that we approve disbursements beginning with check number 41284 through and including electronic funds transfer 951-00473 in the aggregate amount of $167,199.86.
Second.
Okay, motion's made and seconded to approve disbursements in the amount of $167,199.86. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Next meeting date, July 21st, 2019.
No, let's meet in 20.
I think-
Yeah.
I think
Man, I had a rough time on the agenda with years for this one.
Yeah.
My
It
goodness.
say 19 on that one, too?
It does. Man.
Are you sure it's the 21st?
I'm sure it's the 20, well,
Okay.
before I say that, I better make doubly
Yeah, if you
sure.
use the 19 calendar, you'd be.
Let me make doubly sure. July 21st, yes. Third Tuesday, wrong year.
You got the posted date right, 20.